Are you into theories and ancient history? Well, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw one of these theories or conspiracies maybe about the Anunnaki. If you believe in them or know anything about it, let me know in the comments below, but let's check out this video to get more information.
This is the one. This explains our purpose on Earth. If
Here we
it's
go.
true. Y'all couldn't stop asking me about it, so here you go. Who are, I can't even say it. Who are the Anunnaki? Simple terms, they're the true OG creation myth as recorded by the ancient Sumerians, who are widely regarded as the first ever civilization in history. Predating even the Egyptians, the Sumerians existed about 6,000 years ago. And in 1849, our whole...
So 6,000 years ago, before the Sumerians or whatever? Yeah, that's kind of wild that they would even know that, but...
understanding of ancient history was shattered when 14 tablets over 4,000 years old were uncovered in their region of Mesopotamia.
Right, so
ready for
this is how they know?
Because these tablets pretty much explain our purpose on Earth in the most clear-cut way possible. This is the story of the Anunnaki, the Eridu Genesis. So, 440...
Yo, so I know they have their ways and their techniques, but how do they legitly encrypt those things, decrypt those things, you know? Because I know they try to figure out and piece things together from other languages and stuff like that, but could they interpret it wrong? Of course. Let's keep going.
5,000 years ago, yes, I said that number correctly, supposed creator gods came to Earth in search of resources. The Anunnaki, whose name can be taken to mean those from which heaven to Earth came. They came
Fallen
from
angels?
another world called Nibiru, one that visits Earth every 3,600 years, ruled by their king Anu. Now here's the first red flag.
I think we do.
Planet visiting ours this infrequently is impossible, right? Not according to NASA. In fact, they've been finding evidence of this planet for years. Except they call it Planet X, or Planet
X.
9.
Okay,
And
I've heard of
many
Planet
top-ranking
X.
researchers analyze data and pretty much all but...
Bro, but the distance, the light years away, like, so they got so advanced technologies that they can make that time travel even faster. That's kind of wild.
confirmed its existence.
Keep going.
And the reason we can't see it is because its orbit looks like this. A super elongated path around the sun that only gets close to Earth every 3,600 years. And we know orbits like this are physically possible, as they've observed in other exoplanets. Anyway, story goes on to say that living conditions on Nibiru deteriorated and became hostile. So the Anunnaki came down to Earth for some goods, specifically water and gold, which apparently helps restore their planet's health. Now, it might just be a coincidence, but gold is actually used in modern spacecraft to shield from radiation, so were the Sumerians aware of that? They establish a base on Earth called Eridu, made for collecting these resources in the Persian Gulf. They send down Enki, Anu's son, to lead this expedition and rule over Eridu. With him, he brought the Igigi, another race of demigods who were essentially their slaves to gather the gold and water they needed. Now, the Igigi were down.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a little far-fetched. I mean, you do see it in some of the writings on the walls and stuff like that, Sumerians and ancient Egypt. I mean, could it be part of truth? Could it not? I mean, I guess we'll never really know unless 3,600 years happens and that planet's closer and they come back. Who knows?
Down bad after 250,000 years of slave labor with little rewards. So they revolted but lost, and now the Anunnaki had no workers. So Anu orders Enki to create a new slave race, intelligent yet obedient. Enki combines his essence with a species of cave-dwelling savages that exist on Earth at this time. That would be Homo erectus.
So they created us?
And through this process, he created humans, us, Homo sapiens. Now this combining of essence is taken to be interpreted as...
They're making buildings like that out of stone and all this other stuff, but yet they could splice genetics and DNA and stuff like that and make whole new species. I don't know, it's kind of wild. It's kind of far-fetched.
Genetic engineering. Sounds absolutely ridiculous, I know, but y'all remember Bob Lazar? The whistleblower on all that UFO, space tech, and aliens, which literally all turned out to be true? Just listen to what he had to say about certain classified documents regarding genetic engineering.
There is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that tech, saying basically that
I don't know. Do you believe Bob Lazar? I don't know. I mean, some of his stuff I think was true. I don't really know. I haven't really looked into him. But I've seen some of his stories and interviews.
I don't know about you, but he clearly seemed genuinely uncomfortable talking about this, and I can't think of any reason he'd have to lie about it. So in the tablets, they called this new species the First Men, translated to Adamu. Now in Hebrew, Adam translates to man. So Adamu was taken to mean Men of Adam. Does that name sound familiar to you? Reminder that these tablets were dated to around 2400 BC, a whole 1,000 years before the book of Genesis was first said to be written. These new genetic hybrid humans started working the mines in place of the original Ijiji, which in return for their work were educated with the gift of civilization, language, agriculture, governing, housing, technology, medicine. Some Anunnaki got a little close with the humans and bred with them. Yes, that's exactly what you think it means, and gave birth to giants, even though they were specifically instructed to not procreate with them. At this point, there's a new leader in charge, and Lil,
so I mean, maybe there's some truth in that.
He wasn't having any of this debauchery, but no biggie, because he had a population control plan in place. A cataclysmic event that wipes humanity from the Earth, said to be caused by Nibiru's gravitational effect on Earth, aka the Great Flood. How convenient. And Lil took this opportunity to dip back to Nibiru so that Earth can be rid of all these unworthy inhabitants. The translations claim that Enlil and his crew left in their celestial boats that took them to the sky and circled Earth. Hey, that sounds like spaceships, rockets, and orbits to me. But Enki felt more sympathy.
I mean, if they used the word boat, honestly, back then they didn't know the word spaceship or aircraft, so I mean, that kind of makes sense. This is kind of wild. But yeah, it kind of makes sense at the same time, man. You gotta let me know what you think in the comments below.
So he instructed some chosen humans to build boats so they can survive the flood. Noah's Ark, anyone? The flooding lasted for 7 days, yet another creation story told by almost every other culture of our past. There is countless proof of this intense flooding all around the world, but that's a rabbit hole for another
I've seen
time.
a documentary about that.
Humans that survived the flood started to rebuild civilization. Enki and other Anunnaki helped them rebuild in all corners of the earth, which is said to have given rise to the pyramids, megaliths, and advanced masonry techniques that we see all over the world. And eventually they left Earth and they had one civilization that was more advanced than the rest. This were the Sumerians. This exact story is even told in the Atrahasis of the Akkadians and the Enumeralism of the
I don't know.
Now this is where it gets trippy. The Anunnaki appointed kings, humans that acted as their representatives on Earth to make sure that the people still lived under their control, whose ruling authority would be passed down every generation in what would become the elite class as we know today. You know, Rothschilds, Illuminati,
it's
family,
wild, but it kind of makes sense.
Whatever you want to call it. And it's how they continue to rule Earth for thousands of years to this day from a planet far ass away. Basically, the story claims that we're a genetically engineered species that were designed as slaves to serve a ruling class. And we really do see this slave-master paradigm all throughout history. Up until the last couple hundred years, the entire world population was divided into a peasant class and an upper class of royals, nobles, the rulers, kings, emperors, shoguns, and the plebs they rule over. But today, things are different. Or are they? Did the peasant class just become the modern day working class, and the ruling class now work behind the scenes in an
that's
attempt
wild.
to
The
give
one
us
percenters,
freedom of freedom?
Yo, that's kind of wild, man. If you believe that, I mean, some of that information seems kind of legit. Some of that information seems like, you know, it lines up and all that stuff. You know, who knows if they translated the tablets correctly, or they were man-made like way after, you know, kind of fake or whatever. But you see it in the hieroglyphs and all that in ancient Egypt. Some of the stuff they were showing kind of makes sense, man. But if you're a believer in God and Jesus, I mean, could some of that be true? Like when they're talking about Adam and stuff like that, and the way stuff was translated and brought down, and some things taken out, some things put in. I mean, dude, who knows? That it would be wild to ever find out. I don't think we'll ever find out in our lifetime, but hey, I mean, that'd be cool if we did. But if you like this video and you want to see others like it, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment below. If you don't want anything to say, just leave a favorite emoji. Helps out the video, and I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.